Hey, welcome back to Bookmaker. I'm Pat Williams. Brian Blessing, Todd Furman in the house. 3 big NFL matchups. Let's jump right in, gentlemen. Dallas hosting Tampa Bay, and we've got Dallas 8, 46.5. Todd, let's start with you. This game opened 7. That's a key move.
The numbers come up a little bit from where it was. People saw Tampa last week and how dominant they looked against the Giants, obviously succumbing late to the Giants. At the same time, Greg Schiano has instilled a new culture down there in Tampa, and this team won't roll over and play dead like they did last year when these two teams met.
Yeah, he's instilled a culture that's going to get his own defensive linemen killed. The guys now just protecting themselves are going to go and chop block guys. Hey, listen, I love playing hard. That's a box of rocks moves what he did at the end of that game. One thing I'm looking at is the total in this game, and I think it's an overreaction to what happened in that Tampa Bay Giants game where that thing unraveled and went haywire at the end of the game. I think Tampa Bay's going to come in here. They're going to try to get Martin going, play it a little closer to the vest. I know you got numbers that say Romo plays pretty good here, but I think the number's a little higher than it should be. I think the under is the way you're looking here.
Romo versus Tampa Bay, what do you have?
Last 3 games he's played against Tampa, 908 yards, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of 144.8. But like Brian says, much different culture down there in Tampa now. He's going to find things a little tougher. Dallas needs to get back to the basics, establish the run to open up the passing game for Tony Romo.
And, oh, by the way, it does look like Rutgers, Tampa Bay only allowing 52 yards per game on the ground, and they're averaging 132 yards per game themselves. Let's go to San Diego. Atlanta making that trip out west. We've got San Diego 3 minus $1.30. Depends on where you're going to end up with this line. 47.5. Let's start with Atlanta. This team can score points, period.
And the bottom line is this number sits 3. You got the Monday night winner for starters as an angle people fade. Then you've got a team from the East going all the way west, so that's another factor. Atlanta took their foot off the gas pedal against Denver, and I hate when these teams do this. Started burning clock, playing not to lose in almost a game that they had in their back pocket. They messed up. I just think this is a pretty balanced football team right now. San Diego, Todd. Listen. I thought Tennessee they really disappointed me last week. I don't think San Diego's done much of anything in the first 2 weeks. And here's a San Diego team that's asleep at the switch every year. This time they start 2-0. But who have they played?
No, that's the thing. This team has beaten 2 teams at the bottom of our Don Best Line Makers poll. We don't know how good this Chargers team is just yet. The one thing to take away from that Charger-dominating win against Tennessee last week, they allowed the Titans to get pressure on Phillip Rivers. Now, I'm not sure Atlanta can supply the same pressure. At the same time, you're talking about a number headed over the key 3. It changes the dynamics of this one quite a bit.
And there's a huge deal, though, in this game that gives San Diego maybe an opportunity, and that's the return of Ryan Matthews. It's been a dink and dunk offense with San Diego. Now the fact that Matthews is there, they got a threat at running back. Maybe now San Diego can stretch the field because teams are actually going to have to worry about the running game.
Gates still questionable for this game. Rosario, which had the big game last week, he's questionable for this game. Guys, one thing I can say is Phillip Rivers between the hash marks, dynamic this season, 30 for 37, 297 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. They will need to get pressure on him. He's still accurate enough to find open receivers.
He still has the talent to be an elite quarterback. He doesn't have the same supporting cast he's had in years gone by. Obviously misses the services, a little bit of Vincent Jackson, Malcolm Floyd, Robert Meacham. Those guys aren't going to make you forget your big play threats. But as Brian says, a ground game changes the dynamic of this offense quite a bit, and they've put up points in bunches through the first 2 games already.
And just to follow up on your point, Pat, a little more, it would be Abraham can supply pressure, and how about that Falcons secondary last week with Manning? I mean, they were ball hawking.
All right, let's go to Baltimore. New England coming to town. Both of these teams have had this game circled for obvious reasons. Baltimore 3, 48.5 is the total. New England, who's always been this picture of organization, our stuff stays in-house. Now there's all kinds of chirping going on there in New England. What's going on?
Things have changed quite a bit. Wes Welker seems to have fallen out of favor. You're talking about Julian Edelman being the primary slot receiver at this point. They lose Aaron Hernandez for up to 4 weeks with an ankle injury. It changes this offense quite a bit. I think from a spot standpoint, Baltimore can't be thrilled that the Patriots coming off a loss. This is a team 34-16-1, their last 51 against the number coming in off a loss.
By the way, that's the media that's making that deal. Okay, Welker may be unhappy. I don't know if McDaniels, and Brady looks let out of sorts, but there's no chirping going on in there. You chirp in Foxborough, you end up in Bloomington. That's the way that ends up. The last 3 times New England has been an underdog to San Diego, Pittsburgh, and New York. The Patriots won all 3 outright. It is such a foreign thing just to look at a wagering board and see this team as an underdog. But with the revenge angles of the Evans drop pass, the Cundiff missed field goal, I think the safest play is the over. These guys go up and down the field.
Flacco, much improved, guys. Let's just call it what it is. He looks very comfortable in the no huddle.
There's no doubt he's improved what he was doing there. The emergence of Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta as tight ends and almost his safety check-down valves have worked out tremendously. Ray Rice alone creates a dynamic receiver out of the backfield. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of Torrey Smith, though. Look for the Ravens this week to throw a few deep balls and to really keep this Patriots defense from moving up to the line of scrimmage.
Great stuff, guys. Brian Blessing, Todd Furman, I'm Pat Williams. Just a reminder, you can check the current lines anyplace, anytime at bookmaker.eu, where it's always free to open an account. Good luck on all your selections. Sunday, NFL football action. We'll see you right back here at Bookmaker.